Let's play a game, shall we? Let's call it Spot the African. Now, who in this set of pictures is a black African? The answer is none. But look at this beautiful black woman. She resembles my African auntie. This girl reminds me of my cousin. And that handsome man could easily be mistaken for a typical Nigerian Igbo. Now, what if I told you that genetically, a white Scandinavian is closer to a black African than any of these individuals? Shocking, right? Meet the indigenous people of New Guinea Island. Papuans are a dark-skinned people found on the island of New Guinea, the world's second largest island, with an area of 755,000 kilometers squared, which is located in Melanesia in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, 12,000 kilometers from Africa. They number about 13 million. When I look at a person from Papua New Guinea, I am struck by their physical resemblance to black Africans. The tightly curled hair, dark skin, and distinctive facial features all contribute to a visual impression of what we commonly associate with blackness. How the hell did people like these come to inhabit an island so far removed from the African continent? The origins of Papuans trace back to the first settlement of Australasia by a group known as Australasians or Australo-Papuans during the Initial Upper Paleolithic period. This group had a shared genetic makeup and a culture linked to Ancient East Eurasians and shares ancestry with the modern East Asians and other Asia-Pacific populations. Humans reached Sahul, that is, the combined landmass of Australia and New Guinea, between 50 to 37 years ago. Around 10,000 years ago, rising sea levels separated New Guinea from Australia. Despite this, Aboriginal Australians and Papuans had already diverged genetically about 40,000 years ago. Papuans are more closely related to Melanesians than to Aboriginal Australians. Papuans are genetically highly different from each other, as reflected in their linguistic diversity, with approximately 850 domestic languages, which account for over 10% of the world's total. Papua New Guinea is the most linguistically diverse country in the world. If this video is to your liking, please consider giving it a thumbs up by pressing the like button. Thank you. So, how do the genetics look like? An average Papuan has DNA from, number 1, Ancient East Eurasians who migrated out of Africa around 60 to 70,000 years ago and reached the Sahul landmass around 50,000 years ago. These are ancestors of Southeast Asians like Indians, Asia-Pacific groups, and even the Andamanese. Denisovans, who had been living in Asia for tens of thousands of years, and in fact, Papuans carry up to 5% Denisovan DNA, the most Denisovan DNA of all groups. 3. Tiny Neanderthal DNA, and 4. An earlier extinct out of Africa population group, resulting in their drift away from other East Eurasian and of course modern African populations. The fourth component is what makes them look like Africans and not typical Asian. Whereas contemporary Asian populations show signs of only one expansion of modern humans out of Africa, there may have been in fact 2 successful dispersals out of Africa, and that a trace of the earlier of these 2 expansion events has lingered in the genetics of modern Papuans. Therefore, Papuans share for most part same evolutionary history as all other non-Africans, but research shows they may also contain some remnants of a chapter that is also yet to be described, an unidentified extinct human species according to statistical genetist Ryan Borlander and his team. As shown by the genetics, Papuans are not even close to modern Africans genetically by a large stretch. It is so shocking to me that white people are genetically closer to black Africans than Papuans. Do they claim blackness? The self-identification of Papuans, including whether they consider themselves black, can be quite complex. In interactions with outsiders and within broader geopolitical contexts, Papuans might sometimes be referred to as black due to their darker skin. Some will use this term to describe themselves, especially in a convenient context. Some will argue they are black in terms of their skin color. Though not African, they are Melanesian. In fact, the word Melanesia translates to dark-skinned islanders. Despite the cultural and the social differences with blacks of Africa, there is a sense of unity, of oneness, of belonging with Africans, something that Africans might not share with those who are not the same skin color as they are. To a random American, European, or Chinese person, they are plainly speaking black, and they will get treated as such. In a sociological sense, most Papua New Guinea people could be considered black. Like many black populations, Papua New Guinea's indigenous people have faced historical injustices, colonization, and marginalization. These shared struggles and resilience in the face of adversity resonate with the broader narrative of black history.
Yes, people call it, yes, we got to call it, yes, again, mountain, around him, you, no matter when we go away, when we come back and long feel the rhythm and the vibe from the homeland, what my black one tell us, hey, go to boo, see live sorry, oily caption on ye food,
Some will totally reject the black label and argue that any phenotypical similarity is imaginary, that Papuans, even if rather dark-skinned, tend not to be as dark as most black African peoples, that based on the observations, Papuans tend to have thinner lips, higher nose bridges, deeper set eyes, eyebrows that are nearer to their eyes, and their hair, even if kinky, has more variation in curliness depending on the person than with black Africans. That some Papuans have naturally brown or blonde hair, whereas with Africans it is almost exclusively black. That Papuans seem to have much more profuse facial and body hair than most West Africans. That in Papua New Guinea, people primarily identify with a specific ethnic groups, tribes, or clans rather than broader racial categories. They emphasize their unique cultural identities, languages, and traditions. The concept of blackness as understood in Western contexts is not typically a primary identifier for Papuans. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section. Do you consider Papuans black? Thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye bye.